Shall we?
Yes.
With energy?
Yes.
Sir, do not use anything else. All the gadgets in the bag. And mind here, mind and body. Okay? Sir, normally the first warning, like something like suggestion. GST is life savior for you guys. Why? Because request. If you take it as a request, also no issues. You do not think in such a way that okay, after all GST. Okay, if you are taking it as after all GST, you will become after all. Sir, if you are thinking that assumption that as a topic is less and all, I will study it later. I will concentrate on DT. At the end, what is the result, ma? 50 marks each. So, but when we compare with DT, okay, so this is only the finger which is giving IDT. These 9 fingers are DT. Is it easy to complete all the 9 fingers? No. May not. But if you are not having the thumb, gone. Thumb is that much valuable. Okay. So, for example, basically, shall we? What is the full form of GST, ma? Goods and Services Tax. Other guys may give different things. We are into CA and CMA fraternity. We have to give the correct meaning. What is the correct meaning, ma? Goods and Services Tax. Okay, that is also given there itself. And our target is to concentrate on which part mainly? GST. Reason the syllabus is very less when compared to DT. There heads, other points, different things, section 80, section 10, okay, n number of provisions, n number of sections. What is the final marks? 50. But for our GST body, okay, it is giving more score and topic is less. Okay, and it's scoring also. So our target, what is our conclusion mark? Getting 45 in GST is our target, main target. Okay, so and where are those covered topics? CA Inter 50 marks, CMA Inter 50 marks, CA final 80 marks and CMA final 70 marks. They are separate independent papers with the combinations basically. Okay, and now what is your paper at CA Inter? 3B. This knowledge is most important. Which paper at which time you are writing and what is the paper number? If you are not having idea, go. Okay. That is the Govindama. And our 50 marks is being comprised or bifurcated into areas. What is the first area, ma? MCQs. That to case based. They will be case based. So have a clarity of the subject. And what are the other parts, ma? Descriptive. In this descriptive also you are having a choice. First question is compulsory and of the balance you can write any two. But in the 8th question there is internal choice. Okay. So if you are opting for 8th question you are always safe. Choice plus internal choice. Okay. So, and what are the questions we may be getting, ma? Practical, application based, theory based. Theory is most important. At entire your curriculum, CA curriculum and CMA, whatever you are preparing, theory will definitely play a safe role. If you want to be safe, do not skip theory. Because for theory, the time taken is less and there are no numbers. In the case of numbers, if one number is missed, for example, in the case of marginal costing, instead of taking 10,000, I have taken 1 lakh. Okay, and the question has 5 sub-points. Already everything is calculated. At the end, I am checking while, okay, there is 1 lakh instead of 10,000. Now I should strike it from the very first and have to do it again. Or else if I am adjusting there itself, the impression will be going on and it will be having some sort of negative impact. But theory, so as you are good at English and if you are having the concept basic idea, you can write minimum at least in your own words. And you can get at least, for a 5 marks question, you can get at least 3.5. But in the case of problem, one value gone. Entire problem is gone if they are interconnected. So be careful with the theory and all, do not skip it. Normally you guys, whoever has a love at practical part, they will go theory at the end, that too before exams. 1 day before exam. That is risk, fully risk. If you want to get something like rank or a first attempt clearance, do not skip theory. From day 1, whatever we are discussing in the class, go with that part, whatever the subject. Okay. So now, what are chapters we are having more topics? These are the total 15 topics we are having. Already we are done with introduction and we are done majority portion of supply. Okay. So first, what is the basic? What is meant by tax, ma? What is meant by tax?
Levied
From whom it is collected, ma?
Public.
And who are collecting, ma?
Government.
And what are they spending on?
Public expenditure.
So from public we are collecting some amount, and at the same time we are remitting for what purpose? For the public expenditure. Okay. So there is income, there is expenditure. To whom, ma? To the government. Okay. So the definition is that amount collected by government from public for public expenditure. And tax history is somewhere there. So this is the reason basically. Okay, in earlier initial days, normally the business guys who are doing business in our nation or in our kingdom, they used to contribute some amount to the kingdom for the sake of tax, as basically. Okay. And what is the basic theme of direct tax, ma? Direct tax basic theme.
He who has income will pay tax.
More income, more tax. But what about indirect tax, ma?
Everyone, irrespective of income.
Irrespective of your income, you have to pay tax. So which is progressive in nature and regressive in nature?
This DT is progressive and whereas
Do not tell DT and ITT. Direct tax is progressive, indirect tax is regressive. Sir, who is happy, ma?
No, happy is this person with
Direct tax. And here,
tax,
common man will suffer. Basically, common man will suffer.
exactly.
Because common man is the guy who is bearing the burden. At the end, there is a point there. And there is a mechanism. Basically, for example, this Ambani, and we are here. So in the entire chain of that supply,
Burden on consumer.
entire person is shifting. They are shifting the burden to whom finally?
Consumer.
To consumer.
And consumer.
So his pocket or his wallet is getting affected. Because other guys are having some sort of adjustment, that is ITC. Because of that they are safe. Okay. And one more thing, what is the basic tax? What is the value of good here, ma?
10 lakhs.
But what is the tax amount totally?
2 lakhs.
Totally. 5 lakhs.
50%.
So, but for a consumer or a layman, what he is feeling? He is paying. Actually, is paying. He is an assumption that he is paying price, but he is also paying tax. Okay. And next, what is the best source of income? Direct or indirect?
Indirect tax.
Indirect tax is the best source of income because everyone has to pay it.
Why the tax, please? Less
Okay. And
chance of evasion.
so earlier, these first 2 points are most important. Who has the power to levy IDT, ma? Both central and state. And this, our government is known as what type of government, ma? Federal form of government. And what are the central levies earlier? First is, what is the first one, ma?
Central excise.
Central excise. What is the purpose? Manufacturing. And what is the next one, ma? Sales tax. What is the purpose? Interstate sales. And what is the next one, ma? Service tax. Between two states, if there is service rendered and all, the service tax is levied, that is collected by the central, basically. Okay. And what about next one, ma? Customs. When it is levied? Imports and exports, basically. Okay. What are the state levies we are having by the state government? Value added tax, advertisement tax, luxury tax, professional, betting, entertainment, purchase. Okay. Next. Sir, what is the basic theme of indirect tax, ma? Event. What is the event? Manufacture, sale, and all these things are imports. When these events are done, there is a levy of indirect tax. And what is the basic point? In the indirect tax, I am giving you meaning like GST. What is GST full form, ma? Goods and services. But what about CED, ma?
Central excise duty.
What is the reason for duty and tax?
Duty is an obligation.
Sir, irrespective of whether you are receiving any revenue or not, if it is levied, it is what, ma? Duty. And if it is levied on some event like sales, purchases, some income is received, then it is tax. Okay. So now, with effect from 1/7/2017, at a central level, what are not more? No more.
CD, CST and central state tax.
ST stands for service tax. Service tax because state, central level. Okay. But however, what is she continuing, ma? Customs duty is still continuing. But in the customs duty also, earlier there is some situation. Okay, let us go with that first letter. What is the custom duty, ma? Is it subsumed or not subsumed? No. Not. Okay. In future, it may. But if it is subsumed, what is the effect? There will be international trade will be getting affected. So that because of that they are not interfering at all now as of now. Okay. And what are the state levies which are no more? P payable means what does the P stands? Purchase, value added, advertisement, betting, luxury, entertainment tax. They are no more present. They are subsumed into GST. What about local levies, ma?
Entertainment,
These two are still continuing or no more?
Continuing.
They are continuing. Okay. Next, what about GST, ma? It is not mixture of all. Do not write the word juice and all. Just for our knowledge, we are having that one. Okay, it's a mixture. So earlier, basically, for a nation, is import best or export best? Export. So if the same person, so two persons are having option to buy a good from imported some other nation, or else straight away purchasing from within India, who should be encouraged? Within India. Why? Because in the case of import, there is a rupee outflow. As rupee outflow it is there, the value of rupee may come down. It is risky for us. So we should not encourage this. Basically. Okay. And also while purchasing within India, what is he paying? My first one, central excise duty. If it is between two states, GST. If it is within the state, VAT. Customs duty on imported raw material. Whatever parts we are using there. But this guy is paying only customs duty. Is it good, ma? No. So if you deduct these things, it is fine?
Yes.
Is it fine? If you remove these things.
Income कम हो जाएगी ना?
Think from whose point of view? Nirmala Sitharaman point of view. So she will like if you did this, or if you add something she will like more. If you add. So there is something. So for that reason we have implemented for central excise duty. What is the duty levied, ma? And for CST, certainly. Plus customs duty. But with the implementation of GST, that is from 1/7/2017, who are no more present? Countervailing and special duty not present. Okay. So now, sir, with respect to these things, what is levied, ma? What is that, ma? IGST. What is the reason, ma? Import. Even though it is import, it is like deemed interstate sales. Okay. Deemed interstate supply, and automatically IGST is levied basically. Okay. So now, what is the tax model we are having, ma? Dual tax model. Basically, what is meant by dual tax model? Both CG and SG are having the power to levy tax. This is known to you, and it is a common thing. Okay? Biryani. But what about our DT, ma? Who is levying? Central government is levying, and if they wish and will, they are giving some amount to state governments. Okay? Is it fine? Sir, on this exam MCQ point of view, sir, who adopted the dual model first, ma? Brazil and Canada. And who implemented GST first? Okay. Next. What are the goods covered there? So what is the first good not covered? Alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Okay. So now, as of now, what is the reason for not covering it? Sorry, no. Why are we not including this alcoholic liquor for?
It will reduce the amount.
Basically, now the tax paid by us is 50%. But if you are introducing GST on that also, if you are leaving GST, it will come down. It would be useful. And even state governments are not willing to implement GST on that. If implemented, their income will come down. That's the reason. Okay. And in the future, so in the future, will they levy, ma?
No.
Never. Okay. And what are the four most points? State list, concurrent list, union list. So what is schedule there? Seventh schedule of the constitution. So seventh is important. Okay. So state list, which has the power, ma? State government. What about union list, ma? Both central and state. What about concurrent, ma? Both central. Okay. Union is only central. What about concurrent, ma? Both. Okay. Next. What about the petroleum products which are covered? Is it covered or not covered?
Not covered.
Now not covered. In the future they may. So what are those things, ma? Crude oil, high speed diesel, motor spirit or petrol, aviation turbine fuel, natural gas. Sir, is LPG covered in natural gas, ma? CNG?
Yes.
Okay. What about aviation turbine fuel? It is used for flights. Sir, high speed diesel. What is the word, ma? High speed or low speed? High speed diesel. Okay, do not change the words. Next. Will there be a chance for them to bring in the GST? Definitely they may chance. There may be chance. If GST council is telling yes, they may. Sir, what are the differences between these 2 points? So this is most important. You may be not revising this part. What is permanent exclusion, ma? On alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Sir, if the alcoholic liquor is used for medicinal preparation, GST will be levied. And what are those 2 items which are used?
What?
Rectified spirit.
For alcohol.
No, raw material. Detailed as alcohol and spirit.
You are having the idea now? Two raw materials that we have written the notes. That is fine. But what about the duty taxes levied ma? On the alcoholic liquor for human consumption, what is levied? State excise duty. But on the central excise duty. Okay. And these two depending upon the central state. Between states or one state. Okay. What about our tobacco and tobacco products ma? Now, sir, both earlier taxes are still continuing and GST is also. Okay, as it is sin good. It is all good for health. They are feeling and they are living both. They don't want to give any benefit for that. Okay, they are feeling that if you live both, then the consumption may reduce. Consumption may reduce. Increasing. Price increased. Even then also. Now, consumer point of view, even if price increases, it is like food for them. As it is like food for them, they will not skip it. So, other goods depends upon the category. Okay, so 1 and 2 are known as what type of supplies from? Non-taxable supplies. Non-taxable supplies. So services, some are exempted and few are taxable. So exempted from the time being, they are exempted. In the future, they may also bring those things into tax. Okay, next. So can you conclude these points? Kerosene, GST applicable?
Yes.
What is the reason, ma?
Not covered in the petroleum products.
So not covered. What about cooking wine?
Yes, applicable as it is used.
What is the reason? Alcoholic liquor for human consumption is different. Cooking wine is different. What about LPG, ma?
Not covered under the petrol.
Because CNG is covering into natural gas. LPG is not covered there. What about beer, ma?
Not applicable.
Because it is alcoholic liquor for human consumption. What about this?
Applicable. That is for medicinal use.
It is for medicinal purpose. Next, engine oil and
Applicable. Not covered in the petroleum products.
what is this?
It is a raw material used for the production of
Straight away, because main product it is excluded.
spirit used.
Okay, and even the spirit used as raw material. Okay, next. So, what are the types of GSTs, ma? CGST, SGST, IGST, UTGST. Sir, CGST is levied when, ma? Intra-state supply. Okay, when is SGST, ma? Say. What about IGST, ma? Between two states or import. Okay, but however, who is levying it? And who is collecting it? But what is they are doing, ma? 50% is given to whom? Which state? The state who is consuming the goods. So for this reason only, what is IGST known as, ma? Destination based consumption tax. Okay. So next, what is meant by intra-state supply? What are those two important things? Location of supplier and place of supply. What is the keyword there, ma? Supplier or supply? Supplier. And this is supply. So between the same state, what are levied? CGST plus SGST or UTGST plus CGST. Next, what about interstate supply, ma?
Location of supplier and place of supplier in two different states.
Two different states. Then automatically IGST is levied. It can be different combinations. It can be one state and another state, or union territories, state, or different combinations. Okay. Sir, what is the need of classification of goods and services?
Location इसका उसका recipient का and place of supply determined.
Because even that also one more point regarding taxes. Depending upon goods and all, there will be different calculations and different taxes. Okay. So union territories and all these are known to you. I'm not going that part. So for your knowledge, basically a trader is paying two taxes. On what? On turnover, what is he paying, ma? On profit, income tax. For our subject, this part basically. But rental income is also transfer GST also, depending upon the exemptions given there and all. But only one income where there is only income tax. What is that income, ma? Salary income is only on that. Only there will be income tax. There won't be any GST. Okay. What is the first feature, ma? It is a major source of revenue to government, because all the population, anyone, whether beggar or rich guy, if he is consuming goods on which GST is levied, he is paying indirectly. Okay. So what about this one, ma? He is on revenue on supply of goods or supply of services. Okay. So difference between revenue and income is clear now. Basically, whatever net we are getting, that is income. What is it now? Revenue means gross amount. Okay. So what is the next third feature, ma? Liability is on one person, burden is on other person. So mainly liability is on whom, ma? Customer or consumer. Okay. What about next one by default? So normally income tax, how much is the guys paying? 5% population. Even your ma'am, there is law ma'am, no? Tax evasion. Your law ma'am is into tax evasion. Reality. No. Okay. So, but however, entire, if you are a person sitting in India, or if you are born in India, even whether you are incoming or not, whether you are income or not is criteria, you are liable to pay GST. So, what about next one, ma?
Regressive in nature.
So, regressive in nature. These are features. Advantages are different, features are different. What are characteristics or features are some? Okay. What about next one, ma? Social welfare. As they are paying more tax, they are welfaring, they are giving welfare to social. What are the organs there, ma? 3 organs. What are the 3 organs? Legislative, executive, judicial, and the 4th organ is newspaper. Basically 4. But not, they are going with that. Not good. Next, what are those 3 important dates, ma?
4, 14, 17.
4 is for
Dr. Kelkar tax force.
recommended the need of GST. What about 2014, ma? Bill is presented or passed. Bill presented. When it is implemented, ma? 1/7/2017. Okay. So, and first to implement is France. So, this is the mechanism how the bill becomes an act and all, not required. So, now can you conclude how many GST acts are there, ma? Totally?
1 CGST, 1 IGST.
1 CGST, 1 IGST, 1 UTGST. It is controlled by the central government. What about SGST acts, ma? 31. Reason, ma? 28 states plus 3 with the state legislature. Okay. And now, what is one goods and service tax? Tax on a value addition. Only on the value addition we are paying tax, but earlier it is not the case. Tax on tax. It is a burden for them basically. Okay. And now, if we conclude that part, the summary, entire summary, this is the point. Sir, these are known as what, ma? Basically, normal layman terms, purchases. And what is this, ma? Sales. So, as per GST, the purchases are known as inward supplies from this person point of view. His sales are known as outward supplies. Whatever tax paid by him on inward supplies is adjusted against the liability. Whatever liabilities are on outward supplies, and he will pay the balance amount. Okay. So this is nothing but known as what, GST utilized, and this mechanism of adjusting is nothing but input tax credit. Okay. So what is the entry? Is it clear with the entries? First, so at the time of purchase, what is GST entry, ma? Purchases account at our ITC account at our to bank or a supplier. If you are making with cash purchase or credit, okay. What is the reason for debiting this? Sir, it is an asset for us. We paid it. In the future, we can recover it or we can adjust it basically. Okay. What about the purchase sales entries, ma? Earlier, it used to be different. And here also earlier, what is the value here, ma? 7,70,000.
70,000.
Okay. Okay. That amount has not been shown separately. Because of that, there is a tax on tax. And finally, who is suffering, ma? And the consumer. But now there is some sort of relief. They felt that it is relief, basically. But no. Okay. Because normally, whenever the price got reduced, he has to seller has to pass on the benefit to the buyer. But they are going with a reverse calculation. That is anti-profiteering and all. I said no. Anti-profiteering. Basically, I said, but we have not revised any times. Just once, anti-profiteering. So normally, because of the implementation of GST, value should get cut down, but they are going with the reverse calculation. Okay, they are increasing the profit part and they are safe. Okay, so if that is also not good for the public also, so government has some sort of provisions, anti-profiteering and all has been implemented by government to prevent that. Okay, so what is the second one now? What is the second one? Continuous chain of tax credits. This is the most important benefit. So everyone can take the benefit. Okay, if you are into GST coverage, you can take benefit. Okay, and this is the reason. So everyone is taking the benefit and all. What is the next one, ma? Final burden is on whom? So consumer is suffering. And what is the fourth? Eliminates what effect? Cascading effect is nothing but tax on tax. So that is the reason. So I have shown this earlier. This is the way. Okay. And now, sir, how is GST cure for all the ills of existing indirect tax system? Because of these reasons, okay, the guys earlier suffered. But now, with implementation of GST, these all are no more. Okay. Next, sir, when we are importing goods from China to Tamil Nadu, example, what is the duty levied there?
IGST.
Customs duty plus IGST. What is the reason, ma? It is deemed as interstate supply. And here additionally, what is that, ma?
Social welfare.
Surcharge.
Surcharge.
Okay, but in the, for example, the same scenario, there is still between the same state, that is Tamil Nadu to Tamil Nadu. It is intra-state supply. What are levied, ma?
IGST, IGST.
So from the same Tamil Nadu, we are supplying the goods to Andhra. In this case, IGST is levied, and that is nothing but interstate supply. And again, we are exporting then IGST. But what is the best thing, import or export? So for exports, they are telling that initially you pay tax. In the future, you can get refund. But in the case of imports, no refund and all, basically. Okay. What is the conclusion, ma? What are these three things levied? Basic customs duty, IGST. IGST is for what purpose? To balance what, ma? Countervailing duty and special additional duty. And what about next one, buddy? Social welfare surcharge. Okay, these are not required basically. What is zero rate supply, ma? It does not mean that the tax rate is zero.
We are getting the refund.
Whatever we are paying, we are getting refund. That's the basic part. Okay. Finally, burden is what, ma? Zero. So what is the purpose of IGST Act? 3 points. What is the first point, ma?
Supply is interstate.
Whether the supply is intra or inter. What about next one, ma? Place of a supply of goods and services. And what is the domain? What is the coverage? So next most important, what is the most important thing, ma? GST Council. What is the most important number? 279A. Empowers whom to form GST Council? President. Okay. And in this case, how many members are present, ma? 33 members. Okay. And what is the quorum there? Sir, in the case of Companies Act, you will get a word called something called quorum. In the case of meetings. So number of members to present at the meeting to constitute a valid meeting. Minimum number. Okay. And the weights given there for CG, how much is the weight is given, ma? And for SGs, 2/3. Okay. These are the areas recommendation of GST Council and all. Next, so northeastern states. So definitely have to remember them because the registration time, they are very, very important. Most important. What is the first northeastern state there, ma? Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Tripura, Sikkim, Uttarakhand. Whether you want to write any code and all, that is up to you, basically. So what is the next one, ma? Goods and Services Network. What is this? Goods and Service Network. What is the purpose of Goods and Service Tax Network?
Where it works.
Sir, entire GST, sir, initially by one click I am paying the tax. But in reality, what is the background work to be done is done by the GST network. Basically, how should be registered, how the tax should be adjusted for central and state, how the amount should be distributed and all this all taken as responsibility of GSTN. Okay. Next, what are the tax rates we are having, ma? Nil, 5%, 12%, 18%, 20%. Okay. What is this formula, ma? CGST plus SGST is nothing but IGST. Okay. Advantages. What are the advantages, ma? Elimination of multiple taxes and double taxation. What is the second one, ma? Common market with the common taxes. And next, as of now, income is increasing. What is next one, ma? Make in India initiative. How is this possible, buddy? Make in India initiative. How it is possible? So they are levying more duty on imports. Automatically, they are encouraging what? Domestic companies and all being encouraged. So what is next one, ma? Sir, our taxes are coming down, so automatically price gets down. Automatically, we can compete globally, basically. Okay. What about next one, ma? Cascading effect is common. What is next one, buddy? GST compensation cess. Earlier, what is the basic thing earlier? Before GST. Sir, who is getting the entire? Sir, IGST is levied when, ma? Interstate. So before GST, there is levy of CST. What is CST, ma? Central Sales Tax. It is levied by the CG but retained by the state government, which is supplying, that is supplier state. And here also we are paying two parts. What are those parts, ma? Price plus CST. So the guy who is mainly consuming state is not getting any income in the earlier type of taxes. But now with the implementation of GST, what is the impact, ma? Sir, the supplier state is getting 0 amount, but the recipient is getting the 50% portion and all. So for this reason, what are they promised? CG promised that they will compensate the loss of revenue by levying some amount in the form of GST compensation cess. Initially it is for how many years, ma? 5. But it is extended till 31st March 2025. But it is extended till 31st March 2026. And on what goods it is levied, ma?
Notified goods.
Mainly, there are some goods called notified goods. So this list is being on which there it is levied. And what value? Transaction value excluding GST. This is most important. Transaction value excluding GST. Sir, can I take benefit of ITC of GST compensation?
Notified goods. The inward is not.
My inward should be notified goods. Outwards also should be notified goods. Only then I can take it. Okay. Sir, to whom it is applicable, ma? So, taxable person supplying notified goods. Exempt. Who is exempted, ma? Composition tax payers. Normally, for them, it is for normal small persons, basically. If their turnover is less and all, if you ask them to go for tax audit, if you ask them to maintain books of accounts, and if you ask them to comply with CA and all, are they free of cost? It would be burden, na? So, for them, they are giving some sort of schemes, lesser scheme. That is composition scheme, basically. Okay. Next, what about the difference between cess and tax, ma? Cess is for specific purpose. Tax is for, it can use for any purpose. Government can use it for. Totally how many years? How many basically?
5 years.
What are those now? And now we added, now that are acts.
Which one?
They are acts. I'm asking GST is only.
Okay, GST.
IGST, CGST, SGST, UDGST and GST compensation. What is the section number 1 of which act? 1 which act? CGST Act. Specifically I mentioned CMA, here it is. Okay. So section 1 normally gives information regarding short title, extent and commencement. Okay. So it is applicable to whole of India. Okay. So what is the definition of India, ma?
Territory of India.
Sir, land mass, whatever there. Next. It is the number. Which is the number, ma? Article 1 of the Constitution is giving there. In GST Council, what is the article number, ma?
1.
GST Council 279A. Sir, even territorial waters also included. What does territorial water means, ma? 12 nautical miles. Okay. And there is something called exclusive economic zone. That is less than or equal to 200 nautical miles. Sir, if it is within this 200 nautical miles and all, it is a supply within India. That is within taxable territory. Outside it will be like export if it is we are sending the goods outside, and if we are getting the goods from outside it is like imports. So this we have shown there. So place of supply is where, that is important. The place of supply is within 200 nautical miles. It is supply in India. If it is beyond 200 nautical miles, it is supply outside India. So what is the most important section, ma? What is section number there? Which act? Sir, my humble request in DT, your wish, section numbers. Okay, your wish. But in GST, my humble request is that you quote with section numbers. As the content is less, you may write by own words. So if you are writing by own and all, if you are not writing sections gone, it will not be effective. But if you are quoting the section numbers, it will be more effective. Okay, this guy knows much. I should be careful while correcting. Okay, and while if you have something in doubt and all, you have mentioned section number, na, he will feel happy. For example, there are 100 papers collected. In that, Ram's paper is the only paper has section numbers. He will feel happy. He will feel happy instead of 3 marks. For 5 marks question, normally he is giving 3 marks to everyone. But for Ram, additional benefit because of section number 4. And even when a client approaches you and if you are quoting a section number, first he will fear. What is this? Then automatically with fear we can encash it. Okay, so that is the most important thing. So supply has been bifurcated into 4 parts. What are those 4 parts, ma? 7.1 includes 7.1a, 7 subsection 2, 7 subsection 3. What is 7.1a bifurcation, ma? 7.1a, what is that? Activities includes for consideration in the course or furtherance of business. What about 7.1AA, ma?
Other than
Other than individual and individual. For example, apartments are some sort of societies now. The apartment is giving service to the members there. That is covered in 7.1A. Earlier it is not covered. Next, what about 7.1B, ma?
import of service, irrespective whether it is for furtherance of business or course.
Okay.
Not in further course or further.
Whether or not, for consideration is fine. There is consideration, whether it is personal purpose or business purpose, not important. What about next 7.1C, ma?
No
No
consideration.
consideration.
C,
Recapitulate.
but no C. Okay, what is schedule there? Schedule number 1. Remember those points, they are most important. Okay, and what about 7.1A, ma? Classification of supply into goods or services. What is schedule number there? 2. What about 7 subsection 2? Excludes. This is also known as what type of list, ma?
Negative list.
Something for our knowledge, we can tell that it's negative list because they are excluded basically. Sir, mainly these two are important. What are those two, ma? Municipal and panchayat functions and grant of liquor license. Okay, they are not a supply part. What about 7.3, ma? 7.3. So reclassification. Reclassification. So we may feel it as a good, but government has a power to reclassify it as service. Okay. And what are those important section numbers?
Section 252.
Goods, 2.102 services, 217 business, 231 consideration, 284 person. Next. Sir, normally when we are going with this first, we have to check 7 subsection 2. If it is not covered there, go with section number 7 subsection 1. If it is not covered there also, it is not a supply. Okay. And who has the power and all done? The basic chart. Shall we?
Yes, sir.
What is 7.1A definition there? Any activity for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Okay, my dear buddies, are you? Sir, what is 7.1A stands for, ma? Any activity for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. And one more thing in DT and ADT, if you are revising multiple times, then you will get it. That's all. So revise, shall we? Okay. Sir, what are those things included there? So first one, sale, transfer, barter, exchange, license, rental, lease or disposal. What is the short form there, ma? LLDATAs without, okay. So I gave some sort of examples. Mobiles sold on OLX by you guys.
No GST.
No GST. Why no GST, ma? What is the reason?
Not a business.
Sir, consideration is present but not a business. Sir, what about the second case, ma?
Gold by GST.
Sir, we are selling. Are we goldsmith?
Yeah.
Are we money lender?
No.
Then in this case, no GST. What is the reason, ma? There is a consideration, but it is not in the course or furtherance of business. Okay. Free classes. What about this?
Not GST.
Sir, it is in the course or furtherance of business only, but no consideration, no? Okay. Next, what about?
During the business of course, yes, it is applicable.
Definitely, it will be applicable. Okay. Next, what is the next one, ma? 7.1AA. What does it stands for? Any activity between a person other than individual and its members. Okay, what are the scenarios there? Other than individual. Firm, LLP, BOI, AOP, company, local authority, body corporate, and trust. BOI is known to you know? Board of individuals. AOP, association of persons. So who can be the persons there? My individuals, partners, co-partners, members, shareholders, and trustees. So, and here, that is clear, done, not required that one. Next, what is next one, ma? 7.1B. Sir, what are we importing? Goods or services? Only services. Okay, not goods. And it is for consideration. Business can be or person. So, best examples, Netflix or even Google Drive, whatever you are using there. Next, what is next one, ma? 7.1C. What is the schedule there? Not for consideration. What is the first one there? Disposal of which assets? Business assets on which ITC has been availed. Sir, if I am disposing my any personal asset, then is it covered here, ma? There won't be any GST basically. And sir, on this good there is GST basically. GST is applicable. And what about second one, ma? That we shall discuss future in the session itself. What about next one, ma? Import of a service by a person from related persons or establishment outside India. Okay. For example, holding company and subsidiary company. Somewhere outside India it is there. I am importing some services. Then also GST will be applicable. What about next one, ma? Principal and agent transaction mainly goods. Okay. This is summary part there. And what is this one ma?
Investment.
Investment activities. Is it supply?
No.
Why no ma? What is the reason there?
No service.
Amount is fixed in a business. May get a profit, you may not get profit. Because consideration will be certain. Okay, as it is uncertain and all, investmenting activities and all will not be covered in a supply. What is the performing part of goods?
Movable.
Mainly
Any more?
any kind of movable property includes what ma? Actionable claims. Sir, that definition is different. This definition is different. Soda. Sale of goods act is different. This is different. Okay. Sir, actionable claims. What are those two examples ma? Bearer check and lottery, those things. Okay. Next, what is other things ma? Growing crops are things attached to or forming part of land which are agreed to be severed or cut at the time of supply. Okay. Next, initially what is the position of trees ma? They are immovable. But in the future we are cutting them and making movable. At that time it is supply. Next, what is the third one ma? Any currency held for numismatic. Is it currency into circulation? No. So they are not in circulation. So they automatically they are outside the coverage of goods. So on that supply there is GST. Okay. What about next?
Not recognized by RBI.
Because it is not recognized by RBI, no? Money means only that is recognized, basically. Okay. What about fifth one ma? Electricity is a movable, it's a good, but however there is some sort of exemption. Okay. Next, what about sixth one ma? They are tangible or intangible? Intangible items. On the intangible assets also GST will be levied. Next, what are excluded? What are excluded ma? Money and security. Sir, money means only if RBI is recognizing, then it's fine. What about securities ma? What is the reason? Already securities transaction tax is levied. If on that, if you are living again and all, our foreign investors will not come into India basically. And even STT and all basic information will be direct tax. You are having a topic called direct tax now. In that there will be this part. So what is next one ma? Section number? Service or services? What is section number there? 1022. 102. Okay. So what is there?
Sale of land.
What is the first definition there?
Anything under the rules. Best definition.
Okay. So sale of land. First, is it a good?
No.
So it is service. Basically. What about next one ma? Sale of building. Is it a good? Why no?
Service.
Why no?
Movable need.
Okay. So what excludes same. Money and securities are straight away excluded. But however, they are included. What is the first one ma? Currency exchange. Sir, I am giving, for example, 500 rupees note. I am taking some 10 rupees notes. Sir, if I am taking 50 notes exactly, then it is not a service. But I am taking only 45 notes. 45 into 10, how much ma? 450. But how much I gave ma? 500. So there is some consideration to you na? So as there is consideration and all, it is service. What about this?
US dollar.
Sir, foreign exchange. Sir, you are from somewhere US. You came to India and you are exchanging dollars with the rupees. When you are going with exchange and all, will they give it free of cost or will they charge something amount? They'll charge. That charge is there now. That is supply of service. Okay. Next, loan. Depends upon whether interest is collected or not. Additionally, if something is collected, then it's a service. If there is no interest collection and all, then automatically not a supply at all. Okay. Is it clear? Mainly it is service. There is no goods and all. What next? Next most important thing. They may be asking for exam. What is this? Facilitating or arranging transaction, nothing but intermediaries or stock brokers and all. Okay. Next, what about next definition ma? 284. What does persons? Sir, this all are including the definition of persons. Sir, do not skip the basic definitions. They may be asked straight away directly. Simply, they may ask you to write definition of persons as per CGST Act. Then you have to quote the section number. You can write all these things. Basically, you will not concentrate on these areas. They are important, but you will not concentrate. That's the risky with you. Okay? Is it clear? So, who is the first one there included ma? Individual, HUF, company, firm, LLP, AOP, BOI. And what about next exception case found ma? But as per Income Tax Act, this guy is not included. Okay. And what are the other areas? Local authority, society, cooperative societies, trust. Next, any body corporate incorporated outside India. So these are the forming part of definition of person as per CGST Act. And what is section number ma? 284. Okay. So simple summary. What is that simple summary ma? as per Income Tax Act, if you are adding CG and SG, you get the definition of person as per CGST Act. What is 231 is giving information regarding consideration. Basically, what is meant by consideration? Something in return. In the case of Indian Contract Act, what is the basic sentence there? Important sentence: no consideration, no contract. In this case also, no consideration, no supply. Okay. Let us go with summary chart there. This is summary chart. So consideration includes what? Basically, monetary and non-monetary. Whether you are receiving goods or not, that is not important. But in the case of sale of goods act, monetary plus any combination.
Okay.
There. But here no issues at all. And what are excluded? Two items are excluded. What are those two items?
Subsidy from
Subsidy from whom?
CGS,
From any person or specified persons? CG or SG. And what about next one? Refundable security deposit. Sir, for example, rent deposit. Initially they may be taking 2 months security deposit and all. Is it refundable or non-refundable?
non-refundable.
Refundable, no? So it is excluded from the part of consideration. Okay. Next, regarding donations, and this is what JDA. What is JDA? Joint Service Agreement. Sir, Rahul Gandhi sir is giving land property to whom? Modi sir, and Modi sir constructed the apartments and all. Okay, now one of the apartment is given as consideration. So this is nothing but JDA, Joint Development Agreement. Sir, here Rahul sir is getting some flux, whether it can be 8 or any number. What Modi sir is getting? Right to use the land premises for construction. That right. Okay. So on this is also service is next. Basically, someone gave donation to someone. So now I gave some goods as for a subsidy for lesser consideration. Now in this case, who is reimbursing that amount? Tata. Then is it covered? Covered consideration. No? It's part of consideration. What about this ma? So as who is giving the refund there? Government. As subsidy is given by the government and all, then it is not covered. Okay. Next. What about this ma? Artwork. Sir, artwork when we recognize. When we are displaying or when the final sales is done. So in this case, 2 dates. What is the final sale date ma? 15 December 2025. Then it is a supply. Until then it is not a supply at all. Okay. Next summary. What is that ma? Sir, a donation given by you, is it conditional or unconditional? If it is conditional, that is a consideration, that is supply. Sir, you are giving the donation without attaching any conditions, then it is not a consideration, not a supply. But however, there is some exception to this. Sir, you are not giving any conditions there, but who is mentioning your name? Trust or by recipient is there na? That guy is mentioning your name, and that name has which type of advantage? Business advantage or any? If business name is given, business advantage. If individual name is given, no business advantage and all. So automatically in this case it is not a supply, but in this case it is supply. So even you are not having, the donor is not giving any conditions. Is it clear the point? Sir, here normally, for example, I mentioned only this Gundu Babai, then it is not a consideration. Even Ambani also not a consideration. But see the points. What is the emblem there, ma? Lolita. I mentioned their name. So business benefit. Na? What about Reliance Trends? Business benefit. So as there is a business benefit and all, without voluntary or involuntary, not important. Okay. Next, what about this, ma?
Amir Khan.
Sir, Amir Khan. For example, there can be a number of Amir Khans. But in bracket, what we mentioned, ma? It is a tagline for him, na?
Yep.
So, for example, this because of that he is getting some sort of business advantage. So that's fine. It's not a next what, ma?
Sponsorship.
So sponsorship services. Here, who is a supplier of service and who is the recipient of service?
Like the cricketers.
Suppliers are the players. Cricket players are giving service to whom? Different companies or firms and all. So here, what is the most important thing? Whether the donor is a body corporate or a firm is important. If so, then RCM is applicable. If not, FCM. So what is RCM and what is FCM is known to you know. So in the forward charge mechanism, what is the basic theme? The recipient will pay price plus tax to supplier, and supplier pay the tax component to government. Okay, what about next RCM?
Only price.
The recipient pay only price, but GST component recipient will pay to the government. Remit. Okay. Next, this and all not required. Examples. Sir, basic definition of recipient. Sir, if the consideration is present, who is liable to pay? That guy will be recipient. If consideration is not present in the case of goods, so who is receiving the goods? That is sufficient. Even service also same point. Okay. Next. So the most important definition is what? Next one, business. What is forming part of business is important. What is the first one, ma? Trade, commerce, manufacture, profession, occasion, adventure. So normally trade, what is it that, ma? Sale and purchase. What about commerce, ma? Services. What about manufacture, ma? Raw material to finished goods. What about profession, ma? Because of qualification, you are getting the tagline CA, CMA, doctor and all. Okay. What about adventure, ma? So the doctor is going into what there, ma? Is it his qualification? Because of qualification, he is doing magic show. Okay. And CA guy is acting in a movie. Okay. Next, what about occasion, ma? Because of experience. Normally, if you are getting something, then it is occasion. Sir, wagering is also forming part of there, but whether it is for peculiar benefit or not important. Sir, see the laddu. What is the purpose of laddu, ma? Tirupati laddu. They are selling for profit motive?
No, not a problem.
Not a profit motive. Okay, basically, even though it is for the purpose of service and all, they feel it is service, laddu sales and all, and they don't have any profit motive there. Even then, it is covered into business. What about next one, ma? Sir, related to A, if you are doing anything, related to A part, if you are doing anything and all, it is also forming part of business. Okay. So, for example, in this case, what is the things they are doing, ma? A book on healthy lifestyle. Okay. What is point C, ma? Irrespective of volume, frequency or continuity. Sir, just one side and then immediately I close the business. Is it a business? Yes. What is your main motive? That is important. Profit motive or not. Okay. What about D, ma? Supply or acquisition of a goods, including capital goods, during when, ma? Starting of business or closure of business. Okay. This I discussed earlier. Next. What about next E, ma? So this is which section there? 7(1)(a). So other than individual, giving service to individual. Next, what about E? So F. So next, entry tickets. Wherever entry tickets are collected there, that is also covered here. Okay, what about next F1? G. Supplied by a person as a holder of office. So for example, C being appointed as what, ma? Chairman of PECCI. Okay. Some commerce committee is appointing you as a chairman. Why they are appointing, ma? Because you are a CA, basically. Okay. However, in this case, they are appointing you as a president of a temple committee and all. Is there any connection, ma?
No.
There is no connection at all. Then it's not a business. What about this next H? Activities of race club and all. Whatever be the activity, it is covered into supply. Okay. That is business mainly. Next, what about I, ma? Any activity by whom? CG, SG or a local authority. But these are not covered into business basically. Next, these are done with examples. So supply, basically three categories. What are those three categories, ma? 2108, 278, 247. So 2108 is not for taxable supply. 278 non-taxable. So to know it, better to go with this first. Because it is includes what, ma? Nil rate of supply, exempt, includes non-taxable. Okay. Section numbers are important basically. And what is charged there, ma? First, goods and service GST payable, yes or no. If it is payable, it's a taxable supply. If it is not liable, it can be two categories. What are those two categories, ma? First one is non-taxable supplies. Other is nil rate or notified non-payment. Okay. Next, remuneration of a partner. So salary is withdrawn for profit. And here he is not giving any service. Then it is not a supply. But here he has provided some sort of service. For that he is receiving. Then it is supply. Okay. What about the business assets, ma? Disposal of business assets. Sir, is the consideration present or not important? Is the first question. So if the consideration is present, yes, then what is the point, ma? ITC availed on business assets, yes or no? Then it is supply. So next, what about, ma? Sir, there is no consideration at all. Basically, in this point, we have to see first part. Whether ITC availed on assets or not. Yes, sir, availed. It is covered in what, ma? 7(1)(c). There is no consideration, ma? So 7(1)(c) will come to picture. And if it is not for business also, not a supply. Personal purpose. No consideration, not a business. Not a covered at all. Next, so related party transactions are most important. What is the first one, ma? Such persons are officers or directors of one another business. So here this sir is the director of or other, and this sir is the director or officer for other. Definitely there should be two-way. So but in this case, only one guy is controlling, other guy is not controlling now, then they are not related parties. Okay. So now next, what is second one now? Such persons are legally recognized partners in a firm. Nothing but a firm should be registered. Okay. And here the key points are what, ma? Even though these firms are related, the partners are not related. And next one, ma? Such persons are employee and employer. Okay. Even though without consideration and all it is done, that is outside. They are related persons. And next, what about, ma?
20% directly owned control.
Sir, first point, what is share point, ma? 25% or more. Sir, the second point, what is the percentage, ma? The percentage is specified here mainly regarding one guy is controlling other guy. See this way. In this way they are seeing. Okay. But in the sixth one, what is the point, ma? Not only shareholding, it can also include what, ma? If you are controlling operations, or also if you are controlling the majority of directors. If you are controlling the majority of board of directors also, then these two guys will be related persons. So always the relationship is not mentioned between these two guys, ma? Mainly between these two guys. Okay. Only one point they have mentioned that one. Next one, what, ma? Together, directly or indirectly controlling a third person. Then in this case, these two are again. So who are controlling whom? These two guys are controlling a third person. Okay. Next, what about this, ma? Sir, members of same family, basically two are common. Who are those two, ma? Children and a spouse. Whether they are dependent or not important. D stands for dependent. But remaining guys, we take only when, ma? If they are dependent. Okay, for example, Rahul sir's brother and sister. If they are dependent, only they are included family. Okay, Rahul sir's mother, Rahul their father. If dependent, included. And their parents, that is grandparents and all. If they are dependent, they are included. If a mother is included in the definition of family, but however, their father and mother also included if they are dependent. So dependent, and the word dependent is used for only for whom, ma? For these three guys. Mother, father, brother and sister. Okay. Next and all. I'll go with examples. What is next one, ma? Sole selling agent or distributor or concession. Sir, I am selling my goods only through him. I am not selling directly. I am selling only through him. Then the guy will be little persons. So this case, sir, manufacturer is selling the goods to whom? Ma? Only through distributor. Then these two guys are related persons. Selling through him, but also I am having one more sales. So then automatically it is not a sole selling agreement and all. Okay. So family, to summarize it, what is the point, ma? Family plus scope. S stands for sole selling agent. C stands for control. This control can be greater than or equal to 25% or 50%, common control or joint control. Okay. O stands for officers or directors. P stands for partners. E stands for employee and employee. Next, distinct persons. So basically when you are having supply in more than one state, the registration is mandatory for you basically. So for example, this sir is doing business in all the three separate states. Then registration is mandatory now. So each person, if they are supplying some like a stock transfer and all, they are treated as separate distinct persons. Okay. Is it done till there? However, what is this point, ma? Within the same state, sir, within the same state, the registration is what, ma? Optional, your wish. Okay, so the summary chart is like this. First thing is that multiple places of business in state, yes or no. Okay, so if yes, it is different states, then automatically separate registration, it is optional or mandatory, ma? It's a mandatory part. So what about in the same state? It depends upon the place of business. Is the place of business is same or different? If it is different, you are given an option to go for separate registration. You can go for application, basically your wish. And what about same place, ma? In the same building, we are having three businesses. Then they will not at all give it. If you are, even though you are requesting, they will not give it. Okay. Next part that are not required. So basically we see what, ma? Aggregate turnover. So for seeing the aggregate turnover, what are included, ma? both taxable supplies plus exempted supplies. Okay. So applicable turnover limit depends upon scenarios. Can be 10, 20, 40. But we have not gone through registration and all now. In the future, we can do that part. So here normally basically for whom registration is mandatory? Where there is a taxable supply. So here, but in this case of Maharashtra, for our example, there is no taxable supply at all. There is only exempted supply. So for these three states, registration is mandatory. Okay. Next, stock of business transfer. What is the point, ma? If it is interstate, separate registration is mandatory, na? So interstate. Intrastate or interstate? Intrastate, then separate registration is not at all mandatory and not required. So automatically not a supply, basically. But what about different states, ma? Stock transfer, there is a between Andhra and Telangana or Andhra and Tamil Nadu or Andhra and Karnataka. Distinct persons. So because of that, it is applied under section 7(1)(c). Without a consideration, if there is a movement also, that's okay. Because related party transaction. Na? Next, what about place of business? What is the first definition of place of business, ma? Business in ordinarily carried on and includes what, ma? Warehouse or godown or any other place where they are storing goods or supplies or receives goods or both. That is the first part of place of business. Second part, where we are maintaining books of accounts. And third one, through agent. Sir, we are doing business through agent. Even these 3 cases also, it's a place of business. Okay, next. Sir, is it my will and wish to take in the same state? Can I go for different registrations, ma?
Yes.
But for 2 parts, I am going with single registration and for some.
No.
Okay, if you want to go with separate registration, take it for full everyone. But if you want one registration, go with only one. That's one. Okay. Next, what is Schedule 3, ma? Is also known as what? Schedule 3 is known as what? Negative list for your knowledge. What is section number there, ma? 7 subsection 2. Sir, what is the first one? By or to? By CG or to CG? By CG. Okay. And these other things. Next, what about whom, ma? By employer or employee is giving service. Here the most important chart is this. What is the heading for this chart, ma? Supply of service by employee to employee. Sir, now first, it is in the course of employment or not? Sir, there will be some sort of offer agreement, na? Offer letter and all. In that, if it is included, yes or no? If it is included, then it is what, ma? Excluded from supply. Sir, it is not included there. Okay, then it is a course of furtherance of business. His own business. So, for example, you are being appointed as CA. You being a CA, appointed as a finance manager for the company. What is your basic responsibility, ma? Finance manager. Only to the financial matters. But you are giving some additional service. Like audit and all, or like stock audit and all, or if you are filing a return for the company. For consideration. So, it is in the course of employment? No. It is not a course of employment and all. Here it is your business, na? Being a CA, doing returns and all, it's your business. So if it is consideration is present and all, then it's supply. 7(1)(a). If no supply and all, if there is no consideration and all, not supply at all. Okay. What about next one, ma? Who is giving service to whom? Sir, basically here we mention what, ma? Services only. But here it can be goods or services. So for example, for a consideration, if it is forming part of, then automatically, best example is food or canteen provided. Okay, then automatically it's supply. What about next one, now? Perquisites. So perquisites, if they are forming part of salary, if they are covered forming part of salary, that is not a supply. If it is not covered forming part of salary and all, it is a gift basically. This gift has been bifurcated into 2 parts. What is that, now? Based on value. If it is less than or equal to 50,000, fine, not a supply. They are giving stated exemption. But if it is, example, 5,001 rupee, entire amount is treated as supply and it is taxable. Okay, is it clear? Next, basically for the sake of marriage and all, if you are giving gifts, it is based on your personal reasons. But if you are giving a gift in the office, normally what is the basic criteria, ma? For everyone we give the gifts during office premise and all. So that is supply basically. Who is giving the service there, ma? Services by court or a tribunal. Nothing but legal fees. Okay, that is also excluded basically. Next, 4th one, service of funeral, burial, crematorium or transportation of this, they are also excluded. Okay. Next, what about 5th one, ma? What are 3 posts there? Government posts, constitutional posts, nominated posts. What are the examples for government posts? MPs, MLAs, mayor and councillor. What about the constitutional posts? President, vice president, governor, Supreme Court, Chief Justice, C and AG. What about nominated posts? RBI governor, SEBI, TTD chairman, CBI director, ACB. Okay. So next. What about 6th one? Sir, sale of land. Is it a good first?
No, sir.
It's service. But that is straight away excluded from GST. What is the reason? Already we are collecting
Stamp duty.
stamp duties and all we are collecting, and that's fine. What about the sale of building? What is the most important point there? Sale of building.
Certificate of completion.
So sale of building, flats and all. We have seen one point. What is that one point? Completion certificate. Sir, before completion certificate and all,
No GST.
no GST. But after completion certificate,
GST.
GST will be living. Okay. Sir, one thing. Before CC, what is the point, We are getting service now, so automatically GST is applicable. But after it is like sale of good,
Okay.
like something property and all. So it is straight away excluded, no GST, because already sale on the sale of buildings and all. What is applicable, Registration stamp duty and all it is there. So to overcome this, they are doing different things. And what is important? Sir, before CC, if you are receiving 1 rupee also, it is sufficient. So the property value is how much? My example, 1 crore. Before completion certificate itself, I got 1 rupee. So on how much amount I have to pay GST?
5,000.
Property value is 1 crore, Before completion certificate, they gave 1 rupee. On that date, how much amount I have to pay GST? 1 crore, basically. Okay. Next, first occupation and all, it is not here now. So normally in the case of this building, the contractor will complete 1 unit first. From that they will count the rate, basically. So here the point is what, CC or first occupation, whichever is earlier. From that, if they made a payment is made. Next, what about 7th one, So what are actionable claims? So if these 4 points are covered, they are actionable claims. Okay. But here only which covered, Special actionable claims are covered into GST. What are those points? Betting, casinos, gambling, horse racing, lottery and online games, where money is involved mainly. Okay. So what is the mnemonic? Next, what about 8th one? Supply from a place in the non-taxable territory to a place in the non-taxable territory. The best example is what, Sir, the seller and buyer are in India basically, but the supply is from which part? China. Is it taxable territory or non-taxable territory? To whom? Russia. Is it taxable or non-taxable? So if the movement of goods is there outside there, that is fine. What is this known as, movement of goods outside India. Okay, it is excluded. What about next one, Supply of warehouse goods to any person before clearance for home consumption. What is this? Warehouse goods. So we are not taking for consumption. We are just storing in the warehouse of customs authorities. Then before taking for home consumption, we are selling the goods to some other person. Okay, that other guy is taking the delivery. Then he will pay IGST and all. Okay. So when I made the storage of goods in there and all, there is no issue at all. But however, if I am selling the same goods to Ayush, then also no GST. But when Ayush is supplying, or Ayush is supplying those documents and taking the goods, then GST is applicable. Okay. Even the same case of the second one also. Sale what, Sale before import, that is high sea sales. Sir, goods didn't reach our port. They are still in the journey. In the journey itself, I am transferring the documents. Okay. So where it started, somewhere it started in the foreign country. Okay. There the goods are sent through some sea journey. Before reaching our port in Vizag and all, before, only I sold the documents. Then also it is what, excluded from a supply. But this guy, for whom we sold for Ram, if he is selling the same goods to some other person, when he is supplying the documents to the custom port and all, then it will be GST. Okay. So it is covered there. Next, what is 10th one, What is 10th one, buddy? Mainly for September items, it is important. What is the point, Apportionment of co-insurance premium by the lead insurer to co-insurers. Sir, mainly lead insurer has to pay GST. If he is paying, other guys need not pay. Okay. What about
If it
next?
is partly paid, others need to be
11th one what ma?
service by
Services by insurer to reinsurer. In this case, mainly free insurer is paying and all. Based this point, I didn't explain fully. I thought that I will explain the notification point. Okay. And next, whatever we have gone there, ma. Next point.
इतना इसके में थोड़ा बहुत range है but
Not discussed.
exactly.
I have cut a pause there. What about 7.1 ma?
Schedule 2.
Sir, activities to be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. Okay. Basically, regarding movable property, what is most important, ma? Transfer of title, then supply of goods. Sir, just right to use supply of service. What is second one, ma? In the case of immovable property, what is the basic point, ma? Sir, construction of building. It is what? Sir, transfer of right to use. It is service. Okay. Next, what about IPR, ma? Sir, but even though there is a property sold there, is it covered into GST, ma? It is excluded, na? Sir, if after construction and before construction it is there, na? Based on that. Okay. What about next third one, ma? Third point. Intellectual property rights is same as movable property. Sir, just for permanent transfer, supply of goods. Temporarily you are using it, then not. Next, what about next one, ma? Carrying process on the goods of others. Here, what is the most important? Substantial material is supplied by recipient. Sir, for example, I gave cloth to a tailor and he is stitching it. So here, material is supplied by me, na? So he is doing some work like stitching and all, then it is service. But he is only supplying the good and he is only also stitching it, then it is supply of goods. Next, what about next one, ma? Along with services, there is a combination. In this case, there is notified activities and others. Notified activities are three categories. What is the first one, ma? Works contract. Straight away, works contract is regarding immovable property for consideration. It is covered in services. What about next one, ma? Sir, mainly related to software. Whether it is in the form of CD or whatever, it is service. What about next one, ma? Supply of food also, it is supply of service only. Okay. Next, let us go directly the other part. What is the other part, ma? Composite supply and mixed supply. Sir, what is composite supply, ma? Composite supply, what is the keywords? Two or more taxable supplies of a goods or service or both. How they are bundled, ma? Naturally bundled. And one is principal supply. Sir, I am buying AC for the sake of installation.
No.
For the sake of installation, am I buying AC, ma?
No.
For the sake of buying AC, I am getting installation. So here they are bundled naturally or artificially? Naturally they are bundled. Okay, when they are naturally bundled and all, what is the basic point, ma? Whatever tax rate applicable to principal supply, based on the tax rate, my tax liability will be determined. And here one more point. What is the most important point? It can be single price or not. Okay. What about mixed supply, ma? Sorry. Whatever supplies. It can be taxable, non-taxable, exempted, any combinations. Okay. And it can be what, ma? Mainly what, buddy? Single price. Only single price. Okay. And now, when the point is that here, what is most important concept, ma? As they are not naturally bundled, we identify the higher tax rate. What is the higher tax rate? If it is a good, then supply of goods. Okay, based on that, tax rate will be applicable. And higher tax rate is on services. It is service and it is supply of services. Is it clear? Sir, what is good and what is service? Depends upon, what is naturally bundled or not? Depends upon case to case. And what is it naturally, how it is applied? That is important. Okay. So naturally laptop and laptop bag will be supplied combinedly, naturally. So then it is composite supply. Okay. Till here it is done. Shall we have a pause? One, it is done. Shall I end here? Okay.